evening, my fellow beauty and barber professionals. I am Tamara Johnson-Sheely, Senior Advocate of Politics, Beauty and Barber, and the President of the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals. And I have with me tonight, Mr. Buddy Sims. Hey, Buddy.
Hi, Tamara. Thank you.
How are you? Yes. Isn't he cute, y'all? Welcome, Buddy. I wanted to bring you on tonight, and I wanted to talk to our industry about our license. You know, I love when I was a professional and I worked behind the chair, and our license is our life, buddy. And this was my lifeline. And you know, that piece of paper on the wall meant everything to me. I'm sure it means everything to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you spend that much time and money, and then once you really get behind the chair and you're connecting with people in such a deep way, it becomes much more than just a piece of paper. Yes.
Yeah. It meant everything to me. It gave me an opportunity to be the kind of mom that I wanted to be. It offered me the flexibility. It offered me the salary that I could definitely live off of. And, you know, it was my professional value. And across the nation, Buddy, beauty and barber professionals, we are literally bombarded. We have over 300 bills in session nationwide that affect the beauty and barber industry. Let me say that again. 300 bills, 300 plus.
And if I remember correctly from the information you'd given me previously, that number is basically doubled every year. So last year it was about half of that, and same thing the year before. So if the past tells us anything, next year could potentially be twice that amount.
Yeah, disastrous across the nation. Our license is our lives, and we have actually somebody's chiming in. Hi, Vonda. She said, license is our life and the lives of our clients. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And we have to protect it. We have to do all that we can as licensed beauty and barber professionals to protect that piece of paper. Everything we can. And I wanted to talk tonight about advocating and how important it is to fight state to state when it comes to our industry and our profession. And Buddy, you guys have done such a phenomenal job in Nebraska. Phenomenal. You want to tell everybody about what you guys have done?
Yeah, really how this all started was just by having a conversation no different than you and I are right now. It started as something as simple as a comment on Facebook. I can't remember if I made a post looking for help, but I was just connected with another individual that you and I both know, and one conversation led to the other. And once we very quickly figured out that there were so many of us in the same boat, it only made sense to link up and stand together and fight for what we have. It's been an extremely long road. It takes more than one individual, and it's something that's going to be an ongoing process, but I don't look at that as any different than our Con Ed, for example. We do have certain restrictions within our licensing that kind of forces us to better ourselves so we never get behind the 8 ball. And that's really what's happened here, is that we've been reacting instead of being proactive. So a lot of what we were doing was cleanup. We started at the bottom, which was education. We connected as many schools as we could and started by doing conference calls and just really getting down to the brass tacks of the legislation itself, what the issues were that the senators had with not only our curriculum, the statutes, and the regulations. So it was kind of 3 different things that we were working on. But a lot of what this came down to was reciprocity. So we wanted to be able to make it easier not only for the student to graduate, but for the students to transfer into our states through that curriculum and then the regulations themselves. So we have a very involved board as well in Nebraska, and I would encourage anybody who lives in a state where their board is not weighted properly. Our board has members of every scope of practice. It has public members. We have an attorney that looks over everything as well, so it's legally defensible. So everybody has a voice, and if not everyone is allowed to have a voice in the beginning, it makes it really difficult to have someone back you up. So it's about networking and finding those key individuals, whether it's your board members or even your senator for your district. Those are the people that once you are fully educated on where things stand in your home and what the rules and regulations are, you really want to try and sit down and talk to those people. But there was a lot of work that we had to do before we felt comfortable even sitting down and talking to someone, because honestly, where things stood as far as the legislation and curriculum was very dated. Some of that was actually 40 years old. So I think it's really just about staying on top of things, no different than Con Ed, like I said before. So I know you and I are going to be working on kind of a blueprint that we would like to share with everyone that just breaks down the whole process. So I'm looking forward to us doing that and getting that finished.
Yeah, absolutely. And beauty and barber professionals, we have to be organized with how we actually take these steps. I mean, it's imperative that we move collectively. They need to know that this industry literally is a force to be reckoned with. Like, they need to know that we are serious about our profession and we move collectively and strategically. So we're not just like running to the capitals and talking to the legislators. We were having conversations on the back end and making sure we were all on the same page. I mean, even when it came down to you guys going before committees, you wrote your speeches, you were prepared, you had documentation, you never went into the battle without your weapons, right? Uh-oh, I think his computer froze. She says, I feel licensing should be federal. Every state has the same hours and guidelines. Every state should be reciprocal. Absolutely. I definitely believe that every state should be reciprocal. Having a federal license may be a far stretch at this point. Our legislators look at us as like, we have to get it together nationwide, because they say that we aren't paying back our student loans and we are having problems with paying taxes the way we should, that they're not interested in doing a whole lot for us on the federal level. But if we could really get ourselves together state to state, we could actually ask for and move forward or move on having a license that is a national license or some sort of national certification, something that we can reciprocate state to state. Thank you, Christine, for that comment. We just have a lot of work to do. This industry is very challenged right now. The industry is, we're fighting legislation that is bigger than all of us. And literally, legislators have been very strategic and they've been picking us apart state to state. They have yet to come at us and be able to eliminate us. Right now in Oklahoma, there's a bill to literally get rid of the cosmetologists, the estheticians, the nail techs, and the barber. Just get rid of that license. Tonight, we're actually going to be on a conference call. So those of you that are in the state of Tennessee, tag this and we'll send you the internal information to get on a conference call tonight. Tennessee barbers on the chopping block, our natural hair salons on the chopping block. When you have your braid salons and your weave shops, and you have these eyelash places, and you have all these blowout bars, it just literally just takes our industry to a place that we really don't want to go. But it has some technical difficulties.
Sorry.
All the way back.
Sorry.
Handsome as ever.
Oh, yeah, the computer just decided to do updates by itself, so now I'm on my phone. I'm so sorry about that.
It looks fine. It's the background is still lovely.
Perfect. So I'm sorry.
We were talking about just making sure that we protect our professional license, buddy. It's imperative that we really get on the forefront. We like you said, we can't always be reactive. We have to be proactive.
So unfortunately at this time, it's not that we can't be proactive, but we do have a mess that kind of needs to be cleaned up. But the more people we have, the more helpers and hands on board, the faster it's going to go. And I know that there's a lot of people with different opinions on this topic, but it's about finding a middle ground. But even more so than that, protecting what we have now. These people are willing to completely strip us of what we have earned and are proud of. So I think we really need to try and fight for that. But we know at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some kind of compromise made with everyone in our industry. I saw someone commenting about how they would like to see federal regulations. I think I know what she probably means, where it's easy. We're talking about reciprocity here, where almost every state's the same. It's really easy to transfer from one state to the other. And yes, exactly. So I'm sorry I missed the rest of your comments, but thank you. I totally know what you're getting at. And we have the power state to state to make that happen. I had a conversation earlier today with an individual and was comparing our license to nursing, which we do that for a couple different reasons, because there is the potential for cross-contamination in our industry, but there's also the actual number of licenses. The number of licenses that the beauty industry holds is second to the nursing industry. And what they have done is they've created a license on their own. If you use specific testing and have a specific number of hours or have been in the field for so long, you receive a separate license from what your state has given you. And that would be kind of your reciprocity all in. The problem with having like a federal regulation is every state is so different. So I don't know if I necessarily trust someone on Capitol Hill making those choices for me at this moment. But once we all get better at voting and making sure the people in office are actually there for us, then I might be more comfortable with something like that. But I love the idea of having something that is more nationwide. And the way that this needs to start is the boards themselves need to start communicating. If you know a board member, please send them our way. We'd be happy to connect them with the others that we already have. Those are the people normally that are going to be making the decisions. Ours is called the Health and Human Services Board. That might be different for another state, but they have the power to ultimately do that. Over half of our states use NIC for their testing, so we're all taking the same test with the same questions and answers. It's all legally defensible, so there's no reason we can't create that. And all it would take is really a conversation and probably a couple board meetings, but we haven't even got to the point where we can get people to answer phone calls or sit down and spend the time with us. So the root of the problem really is just people kind of getting off of dead center to make those things happen.
Yeah. We got to get our industry totally engaged with and get comfortable with policy and legislation and being involved politically with our industry, going to our board meetings, being a voice. Like this has to become very comfortable and very normal for us. Like this has to be something that is a part of our life. Like that's why I call this broadcast Your License is Your Life, because it is. This is your life. This is your lifestyle, and this is your lifestyle. Like you have to really get into really working to protect that professional license. Yeah. So Buddy, it is totally always a pleasure. You want to have some parting words for our Facebook family? We had a lot of people to join us. Hey, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, please share this video as much as possible. I feel like a lot of what I've learned in kind of owning a business, going through social media classes, really ties into this. This is our business. This is a profession, and part of business building, if you want to say it that way, is opening your mouth. Don't be afraid to click share, ask questions. That's really been my kind of job in all of this, is I'm always keeping my eye out for that next individual that is going to be a great advocate for us, and I'm not afraid to say something. But most of us are already feeling this way. I've been seeing a lot more activity online, so just really take advantage of that and start connecting with those schools and those board members. Let's start with the education and those representatives that we have selected to really help us out here. The board members are usually going to be a little more helpful than your senators. So please just keep pushing forward. If you have not joined Politics, Beauty, and Barber, if you're not following those pages, please do. And keep an eye out for the upcoming organizations. We've got some other people that are really excited to be a part of this. So we really want to start banding together is kind of my message for you.
Awesome. Buddy, it is totally always a pleasure. Again, we are politicsbeautybarber.org. Again, www.politicsbeautybarber.org. Get on board. Let's make sure we have advocates in every state so that we're not always on the defense, but we're actually on the offense. And let's create legislation and let's recreate this industry to be what it needs to be for generations to come. Right, Buddy?
Absolutely. We're thinking about that new student that has just started school, or even the one that is in high school but knows as soon as they get out, that's what they want to do. I'm thinking about their children and grandchildren to come. So it's bigger than us. So we would love to have everyone be a part of it. And thank you for the time today, Tamara.
Absolutely. Thank you. I know you just finished up with a client and I know you've had a long day, but I just want to say thank you from all of us that are watching. Like I said, we had a nice little crowd tonight watching us online. So again, the website is www.politicsbeautybarber.org.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.